Bill Merchant, historian and curator here at the D&H Canal Historical Society. Our museum here at 23 Mohunk Road in High Falls will be closed in 2 years, so we've created the virtual museum, short 3 to 7 minute segments that will tour you through this museum while we still can. I hope you enjoy. Through the magic of videography, I'm out of the museum and on the National Historic Landmark 5 Locks Walk at the site of Lock 19. We won't spend a lot of time with Lock 19. We're talking about construction today, as you remember. And besides having picks and shovels with men, largely immigrants, Irish and German, one historian says Irish laborers and German stonemasons. We're seeing some 1850 stonework right here in this lock, these atypical dry-laid stone locks. More expensive, but these were built later. I think they figured it was worth the extra money. And we had stone near here. And that's some of the stone. And gee, must have been tough to cut this whole thing. You can see how much blasting they would have had to do. Look at all that stone down on that end there. But I'm right here. I always like to tell the story here of blasters, largely Irishmen. You'd have a crew, they'd have a star drill. It would be a 6-foot iron tool with a star-shaped cutting head. One man would hold that steadily. Another man or men would take sledgehammers, probably women too occasionally, although this was tough manual labor. Not to say you girls can't do that. They'd take the star drill. One guy would hold it. Another guy would hammer. You better trust the guy or guys with the sledgehammers, huh? And you'd hit it, turn it a quarter turn, hit it, quarter turn, repeat, 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 until you got a hole. These holes, I can say kind of definitively, were about, a little under 2 inches round. And it's clearly they went down about 4 foot. There'd be limitations. The tool will only go as deep as the tool will go. But this is a really wonderful example right here of a drill mark right there. So how did that work? You drill this long hole right here into the solid rock. How long would it take to get that hole there? You would have stores of black powder, basically gunpowder, volatile stuff. You'd have to use a fire. Matches weren't in common usage yet. They had just been invented, but you couldn't just go buy them in a store. You had to keep that fire, those hot coals, far away from the stores of black powder. You would fill that hole. You would cap it with a clay cap, and then you made your own fuses. You'd soak paper and saltpeter, a flammable material. And you would then take a coal, carefully light it, and then you'd run off. And if you were lucky, you'd get far enough away that when it blasted, you were clear. The second thing that might happen would be that maybe you used too much saltpeter, not enough paper. It burns faster than your legs can carry you. And in fact, some of that debris, and we've got some to show you right over here, could be pretty dangerous. You had to be far afield to make sure, not that snubbing post there, but that stone, that's all just debris from the blasting back there, slowly getting grown. But you can just tell by the sharpness of those rocks. Dangerous job. Blasters got paid more than the 50 cents a day that was common in that early period. It was largely immigrants. Nobody else wanted that work. Young men from Ireland, certainly in the initial building. They like to use Irish and German because, and I quote Chief Engineer Russell Farnham Lord, they're better controlled that way. Now, I just noticed since this tree went down, this is a really recent development here in April of 2020, that uncovered a new hole to show people. And I find this one fascinating because here we've got a hole right there. And then where that moss is, there's stone that didn't blast there, and then there's the hole again. I'd say there wasn't enough powder at the top of this hole. That is fascinating. Of course, there was a third thing that could happen when you were blasting with black powder, and that would be nothing. I always imagine a couple of guys all ribbing one another going, no, you go check it. No, you go check it. In fact, I probably would just go have lunch and wait a nice, safe period. But black powder, they needed it to blast that 108 miles. Patton the Blaster, a good Irishman, was paid $5 by his contractor to blast a boulder they said was some 20 or 30 tons out of the path of the canal. And apparently he drew a whole crowd. You can see here on this account of it in Niles' Register. He lit the people were all, they came from, they wanted to see the big blast, kind of like fireworks, right? He blasted this boulder so perfectly that it landed into the side of the canal where the contractor wanted it to be, and actually he got $100. The contractor was so happy. They never treat it like that these days, do you? Pieces of it were found over in nearby Rochester. One chunk landed in the ground in front of a spectator. That'll learn you. But dangerous stuff, black powder, but they did what they had to. They built this canal on time and more or less on budget. It was a technological wonder of its day. Thank you so much for joining us in our virtual tour. New episodes will be put up every week. Hope you enjoy.